Hi everybody, welcome. I'm Marie Meow and I'm the social worker usually at Hoag Irvine, and I've been here at Hoag for 7 years now, and I'm usually the one that is teaching the in-class open art studio classes and the art for healing classes, and so I'm so excited that we're able to be here today even though we can't see each other in person. We're able to do this virtual class, and hopefully we're going to be able to continue to do more. So I'm going to pass it over to Josefina.
Hi, thanks for coming, you guys. My name's Josephina Kim. I'm one of the social workers here at Newport, and thanks for coming. And you guys should have received a box that looks like this, and it has all your wonderful supplies in here. So yay, let's get started.
Okay, so actually I'm going to take that box. So today we're going to be doing clay art. So in your box, if you were registered for the class, you would have received a set of acrylic paints, and you would have received 2 dowels and some wooden skewer, and some twine. So it should have been 4 feet of twine, and I think, and then, oh yes, your clay, your air dry clay. So, okay. And I think you would have also received a paintbrush for your paint set. So we already have our paint set up already, but if you want to get your paint ready, and you can decide at any point which colors you'd like to use, but if there's any particular colors that you want to use today, you can feel free to put it out on. We gave options for a paint palette to use a plate. You can also use foil. You can even do it on a cardboard box if you'd like. So I am going to get started with our first project. We have two projects using the clay. So the first one, the finished product is going to look something like this. You can use it as an ornament or a wall hang. I hope you can see up close, but this is an imprint of a flower that I chose. It was actually this flower that I got from my nature walk with my family over the weekend. So here you go. Okay. And then if you have, I know cookie cutters were optional, but if you do have cookie cutters, that's what we would want to use for this first project. That's how we were able to create this circle. Okay. So I hope you can open up your clay and grab a good handful. So maybe about this much. Okay. And Josephina is here to really help me be the audience to do the project with me. And if you have any questions throughout the project, there is a chat box on the side that you can feel free to ask any questions, and we are here to help and answer them. Okay. So you're just going to place it on a flat surface. Hopefully you have a clean surface. Okay, and then hopefully you have a rolling pin, but if you don't, that's okay too. You can use like a heavy piece of bottle, a water bottle, or even a wine bottle to just put some pressure on and roll it out so that it's flat. And it might be easier if you're standing to add a little bit of pressure. You're just going to roll your clay. And Josephina has the adult size and I'm using my daughter's rolling pin, so that's probably why it's a little bit harder.
You can just roll it out.
And feel free to let us know in the comments too if we are moving through our project too fast or too slow, or if we need to show a step one more time. I really wish I could see all of your faces. I know some of you are familiar to me, so I hope you're all doing well. Okay. Let's see. And because this is our first virtual class, at least our first virtual art class, this is new to Josephina and I, so we are open to feedback as well. And I appreciate your patience since this is our first time as well. Okay. Okay. All right. So once you have a flat surface, it should be about maybe a centimeter or so, 2 centimeter to 2 centimeters. Could show you. So this is the flat surface that we have, and this is about, yeah, I would say 1 to 2 centimeters in thickness. Okay. So then now you're gonna get your cookie cutter. We just have a circle, and then I just have one from Christmas time, but it's a light bulb shape. But if you have any other shapes that you have, you can really play around with it. It's, you know, you don't have to use a circle cookie cutter. You can really have fun.
And you can cut out different shapes.
Yes.
With the...
So you can use the skewer to cut out different shapes if you'd like. Cookie cutters have been the cleanest way to cut shapes, but you can definitely cut your own shapes. Like I've done a half moon here, which is which is what I cut out with just a skewer.
And if you use a skewer, you just kind of like dot it to help cut out the shape that you want.
Okay, so I'm going to press down into the clay and kind of twist it a little bit, and then remove it out. So I'm just tapping in the excess clay so that it's an even shape. Okay. So the option is you can keep your shape in its shape right here, or you can take it out before you put in the flower. So I'm just going to use this flower that I have. This is a dried flower. I have found that eucalyptus or fresh flowers do really well, but dried flowers do well as well. So I'm just going to put the flower in place on top of the clay where it's cut out, and then I'm going to lightly roll to make an imprint of the flower.
pretty.
Yeah. So then, this is what we get. And then to make the opening for the twine to hang, you can use the tip or even the end of the skewer to put it. It's really, this is a matter of choice where you add the opening and the hole for the twine to go through. I just used it on the top. So I just make an opening like this. Okay. So now I'm going to take my twine and put it through the hole. Make a knot like this. So this clay, the air dry clay that we have provided you, it takes about 36 to 48 hours to fully dry. For example, I made this one yesterday. This is a terracotta colored clay, but the same brand. And it's pretty dry for the most part, but you can still see that it's still a little bit wet on the bottom. So I'll probably need another full day for it to really dry. So at this point, you can either paint the flower or the leaf with your imprint, or you can keep it as is. But just for the sake of today's activity, we're going to paint. Thank you. So you should have a paintbrush that came with your packet as well. And just a reminder that this video will sit on the Hogue YouTube channel, so you can always access it at a later time. Okay, so I'm just going to use yellow. I'm going to just dab it around the yellow where the leaf is, or where the petals are.
And I didn't make any flower imprint on my light bulb, so I'm just painting it.
And then green, I'm just using green for the stem. And for this project, acrylic paint seems to work the best. Okay. So this is the end product of our first project, and we will just let it sit and dry for about 48 hours to be safe. And you can make as many as you want. You have one whole pack of clay, so feel free to have fun, make different shapes, use different flowers, different leaves, and paint it in different colors. This project, and like all of our art classes that we have at the Cancer Center, not about technique, but really to have fun and enjoy your time, to get our mind off of just cancer or everything else that's going on, to have some self-care, to enjoy the time that you're having with some arts and craft. So feel free to get creative.
Yeah, the rolling, the painting, it's all very relaxing and therapeutic. It's good self-care.
Yes. All right. Okay, so I am going to start on the next project. But if you need to go back to our previous project, you know, it will sit on the YouTube channel, so you can always work on that. Okay, so our next project is using this dowel.
So we have a question. Do you have to paint before the clay is dry?
No, you can paint it when the clay is dry, and that is perfectly fine. The reason why we're just painting it today is because of the time that we have, and so that we can show you how we paint it, but you can definitely paint it after it's dry. Great question. Okay, so the dowel, you have to, just so you can continue to work on more at home, but really for the project we're doing today, you only need to use one. And this is a wall hanging where you can, you know, put this up and hang it up on a wall. Okay, so let's see. So what you want to do, it's the same process where you flatten out, you pin your clay flat. And for this one, you know, you can, because it's a wall hanging and you have more opportunity to use different shapes hanging, you can use the skewers to create your own shapes. But what I want you to keep in mind is that for the shapes that you use, you'll have to put in 2 different holes, since you'll put 1 string through the top and then 1 through the bottom, so that we can continue the hanging going. So the shape has to allow 2 holes. For example, this shape that I created, it's just an abstract shape that I put together. But if I were to, it would be harder to put 2 holes. I'd have to have 1 on the top and maybe 2 on the bottom, which might make it a little bit more difficult. So just that to keep in mind. Okay. So, and this one you may want to cut out all of the shapes and the holes ahead of time, wait for it to dry, and then, you know, put the twine through and then use it as a hanging. I don't have the time to wait 48 hours, so I'm just going to show you while it's still soft. So I just cut out another half moon shape, and I'm going to add 2 holes, 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. Because your clay is a gray color, it makes it easier for you to be able to paint. I do think that it is easier to paint when it's dry, but just because of the time that we have, I'm going to paint it while it's still soft.
And I cut out 2 shapes as well, and I'm just painting them as well, and I cut out the 2 holes on each shape.
That's pretty.
Thank you.
I love that she mixed colors, so you can have fun, mix colors, get creative. You can even use the end of your skewers to make, dots. You can even use Q-tips, like for our Art for Healing class. You can use Q-tips too.
Yeah, it kind of swirled like 2 different colors on this shape. But yeah, you can add the skewers to add like texture to your shapes. Whatever you want, it's yours.
So this turned into like a marble shape and
cool.
color. Okay. If you have wet wipes or a wet cloth or wet paper towel, it is helpful since this project can get a little messy.
We have baby wipes.
Yes. So it's a little bit harder because our paint is still wet and our clay is still a little wet. But we are going to put the twine through. I'm going to keep it going from this one.
And just kind of twist the twine if it's frayed at the end to get it through the holes, which it'll be much easier once the the shapes are dry.
Yes, or you can also use the skewer to help push it through as well.
I'm going to use my skewer because the hole kind of got smaller.
So right now I'm just showing you how you would continue to tie it, but really if you're at home I would recommend just cutting out all of your shapes and adding the holes and then painting it, and then really getting to this step of putting the twine through and connecting the pieces together. Some paint that came off since everything is still wet and soft. Okay. All right. So if we continue to connect it, it would look like this. You were given 4 feet of twine, but if you feel like maybe it's not enough or you want yours to be longer, you can, use different, even not just twine, but you can use ribbons that you might have around your home as your string as well. And so I will connect another shape and paint it. Ideally, I would wait for it to dry, but I would connect the bottom piece as well. Do we have any questions so far about how we're explaining this wall hanging? Okay. All right. So really, we're just going to continue, keep going. But if we don't have, oh, do you want to show your, okay, scissors? Thank you. So you can cut, so for mine, I cut about 6 inches ahead of time, but I know yours comes in a just 4 feet of string. So if you want to cut it as you go, just figuring out what length you want, you can play around with it like Josephina has. So
Yeah, make them like different lengths. Doesn't have to all be matching, or you could have it all matching.
you could do abstract shapes, you could do circles, diamonds, you can cut out flower shapes, moons, stars. I mean, it's really endless. And we just want to show you the first steps to get to this point. But hopefully you can take this time, longer than the time we have together, to cut out the shapes and let it dry, and then to paint it, and then to work on the wall hangings. Okay. So we have a lot of other virtual programs that are available, but I think I see a question coming through, so I'm going to wait for that before we finish up.
Can you glue anything to the clay? What kind of glue? Great question.
Any glue? Do you mean glue to add things together? Is it to?
Maybe like definitely when it's dry though.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
flowers.
okay. Adding to the, okay. Yes, you can. You can do that. I definitely would recommend some sort of Mod Podge to give it a seal to it, but you can definitely do that once it's dry.
Here's mine. It's kind of a longer string. But yeah, you definitely have fun with this. It's, your guys' art. It's very relaxing and therapeutic.
But I love that she added like textures and different layers to her shape. So that's something that you can do as well. And once your first layer dries, you can add another layer, adding more textures and layers to it. So you can really have fun with that. Okay. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, we are going to finish up. But behind us, there is a link to all of our other virtual cancer support classes that we have. So I hope you'll join us for more. And we hope that you enjoyed this class today, and we hope to have more. This was our first one, so I appreciate everyone's patience while we go through this. But if you have any feedback for us, that would be great.